once said, Will Rogers and Mother Jones had a baby. Jim Hightower would be that way most of the time. So give it up for Jim Hightower.
Just a blue perfect joy for me to be back to you garden Eastmans, you wild ass Scott Walker butt kickers. For another Appaloosa full day of education at the hand of our man head gardener here, putting on the best political party in America, right here. And how appropriate the theme of this year's Celebration Hula is recovering our democracy. Not a moment too soon, huh? Your little petty potentate of governors arresting, cuffing, and bullying grandmothers and journalists and teenagers for daring to show up at his capital, criticize his policies without a permit from his government. I heard about Walker doing this. I thought of Tom DeLay when he was indicted down in Austin and convicted several months ago. I saw a guy on TV, a Republican, saying, well, sometimes Tom is his own worst enemy. And I thought, well, I'm alive, you know. That is the attitude we have to take. The spirit of office is full of that attitude. I think an old cowboy saying out of West Texas, they say, speak the truth, but ride a fast horse. We need your feisty spirit, your hard facts and hard truths, your democratic principles and citizen action more than ever before, because there are powerful forces of plutocracy, autocracy, theocracy, kleptocracy, loose on our land, out to change America itself, change the very idea of America as a unique society trying to reach toward egalitarianism and the common good. Benjamin Franklin at the start wrote that the destiny of America is not power, but light. Light. The light you dim. The light of those values of economic fairness, social justice, equal opportunity for all people. That's the light of America. Yet the political, media, and corporate powers that be, excuse the redundancy here, won't even talk about those core values, much less attempt to implement any of them. I think our problem is we have too many 5-watt bulbs sitting in 100-watt sockets. And as a result, we have a darkness descending on our land. Bill Moyer said that the delusional is no longer Martian. It's come in from the friends who sit in the very seat of power. The Tea Party Republicans in Washington trying to rule by hissing fit. Voters last year suddenly rejected him, especially women, Latinos, young people, African American, labor, GOAT. Yet, right after the election, John Boehner, the Speaker of the House, they won't him. Said that now Obama needed to compromise with the House because the House had won an mandate. You know, the more Boehner talks, the more you have to wonder, is he actually stupid or does he have to practice that? And Boehner is not the most bizarro. It's a guy named Representative Ted Yoho. Over here in Pennsylvania, this guy who says that there is a racist tax hidden in Obamacare. And the tax is, he says, a 10% tax on tanning salons. It discriminates against white people. We have to pay the tax and they don't. And if you think it can't get more bizarre than that, never pay against Texas when it comes to yacht. We got a guy named Steve Stockman, a member of Congress. A member of Congress of the United States of America. He's got a bumper sticker for re-election. It says, if babies had guns, they would not be aborted. This is the crowd of clowns that promised in 2010 to take America back, and they have back to the dark ages, pretty much. Let's review this plutocracy, theocracy, autocracy, kleptocracy, starting with plutocracy. In 30 years' time, we have moved from Ronald Reagan's trickle-down economics to the Koch brothers' tinkle-down. Inequality is now widening at warp speed. Consider just one family, one little extended family of 6 households. Christy, Jim, Alice, Bobby, Ann, and Nancy. Their little family enterprise has produced a good-sized nest egg for them. $103 billion. 6 individuals, $103 billion. They are the Waltons, the heirs to the Walmart fortune. These 6 people possess more wealth than the bottom 40% of all American households. The Walmart 6 has stashed of riches greater than that owned by 127 million Americans. 6 people have more wealth than 127 million of our fellow citizens. Yet that gap is growing steadily wider. Of the wealth of the typical family is down by nearly 40% since 2009. The wealth of the 6 Waltons is up by 23%. Without them having to lift a finger, they did nothing. Net worth has nothing to do with worthiness. You know, sometimes you got to say, these people are getting so rich they can afford their air conditioned. Hell, they better be setting some money aside for that, right? Which brings us, of course, to theocracy. Welcome to Texas, a nationwide war on women. Our governor, Rick Oops Perry, along with an unholy host of far-right, male-led, Bible-thumping, anti-choice, legislative zealots, were in a macho heat back in June to use state government power to slap the women of our state. They wanted to kill Planned Parenthood, shut the door to women's health services, outlaw any abortion after 20 weeks, even in the case of rape. And they were ramming that through in a special session, but they had not anticipated the power of women. State Senators, we took a stand. June 25th, conducted an 11-hour filibuster. A filibuster in Texas is not a stroll in the park. It's not like one of those Mitch McConnell things where you say, I'm going to have a filibuster, okay, we cave in. Rather, you have to actually talk for the full time. You have to be on topic. You cannot even lean on your desk. You cannot sit down. You can take no break to pee or anything like that. It is a brutal exercise. But she did it for 11 hours, but she did not do it alone, because the word went out on the internet, on Twitter, etc., on the media. The Indians take a stand. And from all over the state, 1,500 women came, some of them driving more than 200 miles to get there. And they filled the gallery. They flowed down the hallways and stairways. They filled the rotunda. And when the lieutenant governor finally, at the last minute, cut her off, they erupted. It was so noisy, the senators could not hear themselves speak. The clock ticked toward midnight when the session would end, and the Republicans panicked. They couldn't get it together, though, and the bill died at midnight. who does then to hear Harry and the Lieutenant Governor and some of these other lawmakers just tremble in the face of these women? Mob rule, said Harry. International socialists coming along with the government. Occupy Wall Street tactics, snarled. Terrorists took over the state senate, said one. Well, what happened was that the political critics and power ties shriveled when the ladies talked back. That's the power of ordinary people. Not just this theocracy, not just taking place in Texas, unfortunately. State after state, you see right-wing trying to take America back to Father knows best in the 1950s. Low down, past the issue, we wrote about some of the other states doing, won't tax your patience with many of them, but Alabama, for example, they go further than even 20 weeks without, beyond which you cannot have an abortion. Alabama proposes that the moment an egg is fertilized, a baby exists. That makes his sperm the protection of a person. See, that's what goes. Save the sperm, people. Save the sperm. That's what we're talking about. If you think you can't get wackier than that, go to Arizona. They say that a baby exists the first day after a woman's last menstrual period prior to getting pregnant. A baby exists 2 weeks prior to conception. Miraculous indeed. Well, next let's take a look at the rise of autocracy. We can talk, as we've been doing today, about permanent war. Iraq, we achieved so much there, right? Afghanistan, trillions of dollars, dead people, mangled lives, lost opportunities. Now, on to Syria. Because what he has investors to feed on Syria and beyond. We talk about that, or we talk about the militarization of our police forces in this country. Use of drones, police with drones, tanks, riot gear, SWAT teams, the mentality of force first. But I think we progressives have a special duty to talk about something else. We need to face up to and face down something far more far-reaching even than those. And that is our president's cavalier creation of an all-seeking, all-grasping surveillance state of spies and lies in the United States of America. This is the evil spawn of the 2001 Patriot Act, of course. And thank you, Russ Feingold, for being the And yes, this began under George W., who famously said, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, you can't get fooled again." I miss him. But it is Barack Obama who has been the one to turn the National Security Agency into the super luxe vacuum cleaner of every American's First and Fourth Amendment constitutional rights, and then lied about it. Last month, Obama said NSA is not listening in to your phone calls. It turns out to be a lie. He said NSA is not reading people's emails. It turns out to be a lie. They are. He said members of Congress are fully briefed. That's a lie. They're not. He said there's a secret court that protects your privacy. That's a lie. They're not. And let's be frank. Or head. Whoever. If Bush and Cheney were the ones doing that, we would be in high howl for what's going on. And to me, it is worse that Obama is the one behind it. We can't give him a pass on this. And we've got to stand up. He is a constitutional law professor, for God's sake. He knows that this is wrong, yet he's weaker than Canadian hot sauce when it comes to standing up for our core rights. And whether you call Edward Snowden a traitor or a hero, is really irrelevant. What's relevant is that without his revelation, we still would not know what our government is doing. We still wouldn't know it. That's the one. And Obama is now saying, well, we're going to impose some additional restrictions on this. Hold on extra, as we say. Restrictions won't do. We have got to repeal it. We've got to reject it. We've got to stop this fight. Now comes hypocrisy and all-out corporate assault on your and my rights and ability to be a self-governing people, the very essence of America's existence. First, of course, we've got the assault that we're all too familiar with, the Citizens United, the outright corporate purchase of our politics, which means the purchase of our government, which is the purchase of our public policies. We've gone in 1972, Richard Nixon in Crete. Remember Crete? Gone from Crete to Crete now. 2012, back and forth, we've got dark money, corporate shell game, super PAC, plutocrats. But more important, I think, let me tell you about something else that's coming our way, and that is a corporate coup that is taking place. That's how Laura Wallach at the Global Trade Exchange explained it. It is something called the Trans-Pacific Partnership. This is a sneak attack. In fact, very little media coverage of this. This is an all-out sneak attack on our sovereignty. It is a supersized, nuclearized act that both George W. and Obama have been secretly negotiating since 2008. Negotiating with 11 Pacific Rim nations, from Mexico to Vietnam, Canada to Brunei. It is an astonishing piece of work. It's masquerades as a trade proposal, but it has 29 chapters in this huge document, only 5 of which deal with trade. The rest of them deal with enthroning corporate power over ordinary citizens. For example, you might have a program here in Madison, Buy Wisconsin, with your local government, or Buy Madison. You might have a Buy Sweatshop Free. You put your public money where your values are. That would be outlawed by the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Food safety, any of our government's food safety regulations on pesticide levels, GMOs, etc., that are stricter than the international standard, as most of ours are, would be eliminated, would be reduced to the international standard. Our Department of Energy would no longer have the power to regulate fracking of gas that is going to be exported to those nations. So it would result in a huge boom in increased fracking because they will not have to explain the environmental and economic impacts on local communities. The bankers, this Trans-Pacific Partnership would explicitly prohibit such provisions as the Robin Hood tax that we proposed here in the United States, a tax on transactions of speculators around the globe to finance the kind of things that we want done, that Bernie Sanders talked about America becoming a great nation. Where's the money? Where are we going to get the money? They said, we're going to get it from where it went. We're going to get it from Wall Street. And the speculators that have hauled it all off, well, this transnational partnership takes our sovereignty away and says we can't do that. We need to pay attention to the Trans-Pacific Partnership. So go to the website of the Public Citizens of Global Trade Watch. That is at tradewatch.org, and sign up. They've got all kinds of local actions all across the country. We have a very good chance of defeating this, but we have got to do the work that it takes to defeat it. Now let me tell you something astonishing. Despite all of this bad news, we're winning. We are winning in fight after fight, thanks to the phenomenal efforts of grassroots folks like you on issue after issue. We're winning. Very little media coverage. But Citizens United, for example, did you know that there are 13 states that have already passed resolution calling on Congress and Senate constitutional amendments for the people to vote on, outlaw corporate money policy? More than 300 cities have done that. 89% of Democrats, 85% of independents, and 78% of Republicans support getting corporate money out of politics. We're winning. That Trans-Pacific Partnership, the more people know about it, the less their chances are. Lyndon Johnson said you can't make chicken salad out of chicken manure. He's a little more graphic than that. And that's all they've got. And we've got a very broad coalition that the Public Citizen Global Trade Watch has helped form and coordinate to defeat. And sometimes the media establishment said, oh, well, you can't defeat one of these things. The people can't understand. It's too complex for the people to understand. Well, bullshit. This is a straight-out power grab by multinational corporations. It's not hard to understand it at all. And people do get it, but we have to go to the people with that. And since 1998, we have defeated 10 of these kind of trade schemes in the Congress of the United States. We can do it again. On environmental matters, Nebraska, folks organized out there, farmers with the environmentalists teamed up out there, and they moved the Keystone XL pipeline off there. There's huge spills of this tar sands oil already in the United States. Devastating. One in Michigan, one down in Arkansas. Just devastating. Still can't get cleaned up. And the people are rallying. The more this information gets out, then people oppose that. We got a battle in Texas. A woman named Julia Crawford. She's a farmer up in northeast Texas. And the Keystone Pipeline outfit was able to use the state's power of eminent domain to force that pipeline across her land and across the creek that waters, that irrigates her crops down there. But they picked on the wrong woman. Julia is 6 foot tall, former basketball player, Texas A&M, and a third generation farmer. And they got the pipeline across her land. She has now organized a statewide campaign of environmentalists, of farmers, of all kinds of just regular working people, Republicans as well as Democrats, to say we've got to take the power of eminent domain back into the public domain, not allow corporations to use it to run over. Same thing with fracking. The reason they're not going to win on fracking is because of the water. We don't have the water to do the fracking. We're also not going to win because the earthquakes tend to be caused exactly by fracking. Even on that theocracy, the pushback that's taking place, one of your own state senators says, one of the Republicans who favors more punishment of women, said that he has felt the pulse of the people and senses a rising political reality. All we're going to do is panic people, and this is going to blow up if we don't begin to moderate some of this stuff. Even they are getting the message there. So we can fight back. And the LGBT fights, as you know, across the country, the gay marriage thing is now happening. I was in New Mexico just 2 weeks ago, and it happened the day I was there. The county commissioner said there's nothing. I've read the Constitution of the state of New Mexico, and there's nothing in there that prohibits same-sex marriage. So I was sorry to issue licenses today, and they're now very hard. A friend of mine put it to me like this. He said, those who say it can't be done should not interrupt those who are doing it. That would be you. You're the ones who make the difference here. You're the ones who are doing it. So I'm here simply to say keep on, keeping on. And say keep on keeping on more. Do a little bit more. Because the people are with us, as Bernie was indicating, on issue after issue. And we have those values. Too. You know, I grew up a small guy growing up in a small Texas town. And I learned early on you should never hit a man with glasses. Use something much heavier. And the heaviest thing that we have is a set of values: fairness, justice, opportunity for all people. We believe in that in this country. And that's the way we need to couch all of these issues, in terms of our values, in terms of the stories that we have to tell. So keep reaching out with Bob Fest's core progressive message, with his spirit, and with his mission. And as Patti Smith put it in the great rock song, people have the power to dream, to rule, to wrestle the world from fools. Thank you for watching.